in the Center of Permanent of Initiative for the Environment. The name is CPE. My project I did in Lerans Island and also in Cannes during the period of March to June in this year. So about the content, I want to talk about the introduction, the context, the methodology, the results, and the discussion and conclusion. To start to the introduction about Lerans Island, the location of the Lerans Island is in Alpes Côte d'Azur. The Lerans Islands are the 4 Mediterranean islands. The most bigger are Sainte Marguerite and Sainte Honora, and the smaller one is Ile Ferrol and Tradeler. The area of this archipelago is about 2.5 square kilometers. What about the history? The history, it has been inhabited, this island it has been inhabited since Roman times. After that, many battles was there. One of these is the invasions of Saracens, and after that, they built this Fort Royal, and then this Fort Royal as a prison of the Iron Mask. Then, to talk about the biodiversity, Lerans Island are a remarkable biodiversity. Nowadays, it's protected by Natura 2000 zone. And then in Lerans Island, there are different ecosystems such as rocky bottoms, sandy bottoms, and Poseidon herbarium. The Lerans Island, as I am saying before, have a remarkable biodiversity. For this, many associations work in that. One of these examples is CPE. To talk about the CPE association, it was created in 1972 at national level. In 1986, the CPE was set up here in Lerans Island. And in 1983, this association was created with the name Cannes Île de Lerans. In 1998, this association changed the name as CPE Pays de Côte d'Azur, that nowadays is the association that I work. What about the objectives of CPE? The 2 main objectives are carry out awareness raising and carry out environmental education. To do that, they have 2 places. In Antibes, the Botanical Garden, and in Sainte Marguerite in Lerans Island, the Mediterranean Scope Aquarium. Now we are going to talk about the Mediterranean Scope. The Mediterranean Scope, as you can see here, is an aquarium located in Sainte Marguerite. The first version of the Mediterranean Scope was created in 1970, and after that they renewed it for 7 years. In 2010, the Mediterranean Scope was inaugurated and with the name Mediterranean Scope. What about the goals of this aquarium? They have 3 goals. Principal goals is rebuild the marine bottoms of Lerans Island, develop a link between the visitors and the natural environment, and the third is promote the environmental conservation. So for do that, they have 2 aquariums on 900 liters. The 4 aquariums are Poseidon herbarium, small rocky bottoms, sandy bottoms and open waters, and deep rocky bottoms and caves. This aquarium is opened from March to October and receive all the schools and general public. To do that, after 2010, this aquarium does not have any renovation. So for this, the main problem has the turnover of the staff, non-structural change, and the evolution changing the world. This association has conservationist mindset. So this is the main problem that had this aquarium nowadays. For this, the staff and the volunteers start to renew the process of this aquarium. So with this theme, we create this internship. The goals of this internship was updating the principal goals of this internship was updating the museography of the Meteoroscope, animation the collective process, opening the Meteoroscope to the public, and test the prototype with the public. To do that, I work with the staff of the CPE, the volunteers, and the public. Okay, to do my project, I start to work in three main components. The first was a comparative regional analysis of the three aquariums here in the French Riviera. The second was a quantitative survey with the visitor of the Meteoroscope. And the third was a qualitative recollection of recommendation for a new Meteoroscope. Each component have each objective and each question of a study, as you can see here. So I'm start to talk about the methodology of the first component of my internship. To do that, I did three main steps to have the results. The first step was select a criteria of the sample. To do that, we saw that the number of visitors is important, the approach and vision of each aquarium, and the location. Once this step we saw, we know that we want to evaluate the Oceanographic Museum of Monaco and Marineland. The next step to do the survey, we take into account the institutional mission, the pedagogical methods, the socioeconomic management, and the communication tools. And the third is the methodology to implement the comparison of this aquarium. So to do that, I compilate the information of the website. I prepared the survey, the qualitative survey for each aquarium and museum, and I review this survey with the people of CPE to be sure that it's good, and then I implement it. So to Marineland, I did one person, and in Monaco, I did with the survey with 2 persons to recollect the information. What about the methodology of the qualitative survey with the visitor? I divided in 4 steps. The first step is definition of sample. I analyze the data of the statistic during all the years of the Meteoroscope, and then to select the sample, I did a formula or Corchant's formula to know the sample size. Then I prepared the survey. This survey have general information, the satisfaction of the room, the satisfaction of didactical material, and the global satisfaction of the visitor of CPE, of the aquarium, sorry. Then about the interview, the time that I did is to April to June of this year. The survey was realized individually, and was made at the exit of the Meteoroscope to know better the satisfaction of the visitors. Then to analyze, I compilate the data in Excel and then put one value for each question, because the question was closed, so I can put a value to have a real analysis. And then I analyze the data. And the third, about the recommendation, we did 2 kind of things. The first, we did workshops with the volunteers, 1 workshop of each month, and we did qualitative survey with the workers of CPE. To do that, we select the sample. It's all of the staff of CPE, interns, work of CPE, and civic interns. And the content of this survey was general information of the Mediterranean scope, about the pedagogical materials, pedagogical methods, and proposed the new theme to talk about in the Mediterranean scope. Okay, what about the results? With the first component, I decided to know the identity. This is the objective of this component, to know the identity of the Mediterranean scope, because during the years there are a controversial between the volunteers and the workshop of the workers of CPE about this identity. For this, it's a good idea to have other perception and compare it with the other aquariums. So, for instance, in Maryland is the largest marine park in Europe, have one of the most visitors in the area. They have support by foreign private funds and have rare species to visit the people. So here this is the slogan of Maryland. The Museum Oceanographic of Monaco, they have a large number of species. They have a scientific vision. It's quite different of Maryland. They have it is a historical symbol of Monaco, and have different slogan also. And with the results about CPE to compare with this big aquarium and museum, is that the aquarium the CPE is more associative. They want to show to the people the local species of the Mediterranean scope. The visitor is unexpected because they come to the island and they don't know this aquarium. So it's quite different. The goal of CPE is to maintain the identity, to show to the visitor the local species. So with this, these are the results of the first component. The second component, I can show the result of the survey. This is show the general information. As you can see here, there are 47% that the people come from Alpes Maritime, and 9% come from Bartolome. About the knowledge about the Mediterranean scope, 54% don't know the Mediterranean scope, and 14% know the Mediterranean scope. This is quite difficult to understand. The characteristic of the Mediterranean scope, we can see that it's quite variable. About the methods, we can see that with awareness raising was quite different. With the result of environmental issue also is we see that in the 2% are the same in average, and the global satisfaction of the Mediterranean scope have 81% and of a good satisfaction, and 19% that has a not good satisfaction about the global aquarium. To the results, to the recommendation, the principal are the communication, the physical signalization, improve the pedagogical tools, to improve the events of an exposition, to improve the Mediterranean room, and to manage good the aquariums. In short term, in medium and long term, they want to have a technical conception. They want to have good economic analysis to improve all of the recommendations that I can mention before. To have an inclusive selection, to have a good governance between the volunteers and the workers of CPE, to have funding raising to improve this technical conception and implement this project. So for the discussion, we have a limits of the pedagogical, methodological limits of the study, sorry. The first is the unavailability of CPE permanent staff during the qualitative surveys to the meeting with the other aquariums. The other is a low number of surveys to do the second component. And the third is with the third component, that is the recommendation, the workshops of the volunteer was stopped, so it's quite difficult to continue the process. Without the concrete challenge for a long term is a cost of action. The key point is that the method and scope can't reform if the person wants to change. For instance, the governance of the CPE is quite important because they want to change the aquarium, but they don't know how to change. So it's important that the volunteers and the workers of CPE have a good governance management to improve this aquarium, to improve the actions, to do this analysis well. So for the main conclusion that I can say and the key point, this work that I did have the base to improve this aquarium. So the only thing, this is a collect process, and the only thing that we need to take into account, if they want to change or improve this aquarium, they want to management a good governance between the workers and the volunteers of CPE. So here the acknowledgement, first is for the staff of CPE, second are the volunteers who work with me during these months, and the third is the UCA and Christoph that stay with me during this process. So thank you, this is the reference. If you have questions, I'm here. Sorry for the time.